Hey, it's Troy here, and welcome to Bass Camp. Yep, I'm here at Bass Camp with Winston. Our camp set up here at Table Rock Lake. We've been here the last couple days doing some bass fishing, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about what we found, and what we caught, and some of the stuff that went down while we were here. So anyway, we were here Saturday. We got on the water Saturday. We're rarely on the water on weekends. Usually we fish during the week, but this our time worked out better to be here this weekend with the upcoming Thanksgiving time schedule and everything, and the weather. We was trying to work around the weather a little bit as well. So I had done some homework before I came here, and I had an idea what I was hoping I could find, and some of the areas where I was hoping I could find it. And when I got here, it worked out really good. We went out Saturday, and Saturday morning we were fishing some points and secondary points, mainly secondary points. Early in the morning, and we seen a lot of shad around, and we caught a few fish like that. Nothing was really big. We caught some keeper size fish, which we were glad to catch, but we didn't catch anything massive, and we really wanted some bigger fish. I love keeper size, but we wanted some bigger fish. I've been struggling to get some good sized bass this fall, and I was really needing to get that to self-satisfy myself some. So anyway, we started off with that pattern. It worked okay. Later in the afternoon, the other pattern we were wanting to try was coming around and getting developed. Now, I'm going to say the other pattern didn't need the sunshine or the warmth or anything like that. Saturday was cloudy, foggy most of the day, drizzly, and actually it wasn't drizzle, it was such a heavy fog, it was almost like a drizzle, a mist of rain, but it was just from the fog. And kind of cool. It was really kind of an uncomfortable day. It wasn't real windy, but there was a breeze. And so it was uncomfortable to the skin, but it was a great fishing day, So anyway, our pattern kind of came together in the afternoon, and I went to where I thought I could find some fish. And the key to finding fish this time of year in the fall at Table Rock Lake is to find the shad. Find the shad, the bait balls, and you'll find bass either feeding on them, obviously, or nearby. And so I went where I thought I could find a large volume of shad, and let me tell you, we ran into the grail of shad. We were in an area, and we went way back in a creek, a particular creek. I'm not going to share it with you because it's one of my favorite spots. But I went back in this creek about 2/3 of the way, and there was a lot. And so we were in the middle of these shad, and we were seeing them feeding, the bass feeding on the shad, which is real common whenever you find bait balls, Now, what was real interesting was you couldn't just cast anything into them feeding frenzies. Sometimes when you see them bass busting them shad, you can throw a white or silver or a chrome lipless crankbait, a white or silver or some kind of shad looking spinner bait, or a bladed jig, or you could throw I throw the bait ball crankbait a lot, which is from the Little River Lure Lady. And them usually work great. What I'm getting at, usually those work great whenever you find those bass feeding on those shad. Now they're not busting the surface much. They're doing a little bit. They're mainly busting them under the surface. You can see them on the I use Lowrance active target, and you can see the bait balls and the bass going into them and them scattering. You can even see bait balls around the bass. They're right in the middle of it. You can see them following the bait balls. So they weren't really. There was some busting the surface, but most of the activity was under the surface. Anywhere from right under the surface down to 20 foot, anywhere in between, all in between. And so what I'm getting at is you couldn't catch the bass using those traditional techniques. I know because I tried a little bit just to see, and there were a couple other boats in my vicinity that started seeing me catching fish and came closer to me, and they were doing that, and they weren't catching a thing. So what it required the minnow. Yeah, I needed to shake the minnow. Light line shaking the minnow, but it was a 3.5 inch minnow, and it really it was. And I used an albino colored, and I used a shad color, and just shaking that minnow. I was actually throwing that out in those bait balls, and shaking that minnow and catching nice fish. These bait ball feeding fish were not just average size. There were some nice ones in there. So that was working really well. That's what I was doing. I was using my graph to find them. I wasn't fishing. I was using my graph to find them and using accurate cast. That's what required. But I didn't sit there and set the hook based on the graph. You had to feel the weight. Obviously, some people think you can see them bite, and you can, but you still got to feel the fish. You can't. Sometimes that the dimensions are off of where they're hitting at, or it looks like. So you got to wait till you feel the weight, and then you got to get a good hook set and get them in. So what else I was noticing was, well, let me go back to my techniques. Also, too, I was using 6-pound line. I use copolymer line all the time. I got a previous video talking about that. Or I use monofilament sometimes, but I was using only copolymer line, and I was using 6-pound test and 4-pound test. If you went to 8-pound test, which I had another one rigged up that way, they were a little more leery of it. So it was kind of weird. The bass were almost like finicky trout in this situation. They were aggressive, they were feeding, but they were particular. And so it was really interesting. The other real interesting thing that gets me all fired up, that I'm actually getting goosebumps waiting to tell you about, was I came across Wolfpacks. Bass Wolfpacks, as I call them. What is a bass Wolfpack? To me, this is what I call them that. They are clusters of bass, I would say 2.5 to 3.5 pound size, anywhere from 6 to 12 in a cluster, and they're running around on their own. They're their own school, and they're running around like bullies and feeding on shad because there were so many shad. They're just running around busting them everywhere. They're almost like bullies in high school, running around knocking a notepad out of your hand, taking your hat, taking the kid's milk money, beating up a kid. They were like a bully like that. They're running around, they're running in fast packs, and they're running around busting these shad. And they're a small school of good size, 2.5 to 3.5 pound bass. And I call them Wolfpacks. They were really cool to see. They move fast. So when you get lucky to come across one like I was once in a while, you cast in there, and one of those bass is going to be super aggressive and smash your lure. And whenever you get him in, even if you want to just unhook him and throw him back and try to get right back out there, you can't find them. They move that fast. So you might as well, when you get a fish, enjoy the glory, get some pictures, and then go hunting for them again, because they move that fast. So if you got someone with you fishing, they should be able to get in there at the same time. But again, they're fast movers and they're gone. So I was just fishing with my dog Winston, so we were solo. So I was so thrilled to find those massive shad areas and them bait balls, and especially those Wolfpacks. Those were a lot of fun. We caught a lot of nice bass. So, but I wanted to tell you, we did a long day of doing that and had a great time. We wrapped up our day. We couldn't wait for the next day. And I want to share with you what happened the next day, but I'm going to put that up on a second video. So stay tuned for the other video. We'll talk about day 2, but that was what day 1 was about. I'm going to put some videos, pictures into this videos of some of the fish we caught at the start of the day with the bladed jig on the secondary points and the main points, and then the fish we caught later in the day shaking that minnow. So thanks for watching. We appreciate your support, and stay tuned for some of our sponsors listed at the end. Please visit them. Without sponsors, we can't do what we do. This isn't just a hobby for us. This is a business, and so our supporters are very important, and these products are very important to you as well. You can use a lot of them. So check out the sponsors. I would appreciate it. You all have a good one. Thanks for watching.